Now, if you think that sounds weird coming from me, just wait till you see Samuel L. Jackson do that in this movie. It's weird. The laser is 'cause I like sci-fi. Do this 'cause I am a rad guy. 99 is 'cause I like Wayne Gretzky. That's why I'm Lazy Dude 99. Lazy time and we're gonna do a review. Yes, we're gonna review. Let's talk about movies and comics too. Let's all go on to review. Hello everyone, I'm LazyDude99 and welcome to another LazyDude99 review. Today, we are looking at Robo Cop. This is the remake of the classic science fiction film of the same name. This movie stars Joel Kinnaman as Robo Cop. We also have Gary Oldman, Michael Keaton, Samuel L. Jackson, just to name a few, in this film. So before I get into this film, I'll just tell you my history with the Robo Cop franchise. I saw the first Robo Cop movie last year, around this time. It's always been something that I've known about. Like, as a kid, I thought Robo meant the strongest metal on Earth. That's what I thought it was, like, that's what I thought it meant. So when I saw that they were going to reboot the franchise, my first thought was, meh. I mean, I wasn't excited, I wasn't angry. I just thought, like, oh, well, could be good, could be bad. And if I have the time and there's nothing else going on, I'll see it. And I did. So if you don't know the story of RoboCop, I'll just briefly go over it with you. We follow Alex Murphy, a Detroit police officer who has been injured in this movie by an explosion of a car bomb. This event happens around the time when Michael Keaton is looking for a way around this certain act. You see, Michael Keaton plays the head of this company called Omnicorp that is selling millions and millions of dollars worth of robots to the military to use in foreign countries, but he wants to be able to sell them on American soil so he can make a killing. I guess even more of a killing, because if he's selling those things, those are millions of dollars of technology, and he's selling a lot of them from the looks of it. Anyway, though, he wants it to be able to sell them on American soil. But there's an act that makes sure that you cannot have armed robots on American soil, because a robot cannot differentiate when a situation calls for different stuff. For example, if a robot sees a kid with a gun, a human would be able to assess, okay, it's a kid, he's scared, and he doesn't actually know how to shoot a gun, and, you know, he's just really, really tense, and I need to calm him down. Where a robot can't differentiate from that, it would just shoot the kid on sight. So he's decided to find a way around that by making RoboCop. He takes Alex Murphy and puts most of him, what's left of him, inside this metal suit to make him the greatest cop of all. Along the way, we have the scientist, played by Gary Oldman, who is trying to make the machine and the man one thing. And as the movie progresses, we see the company trying to take more and more control, and Alex Murphy trying to fight to get it all back. Let me just talk about the best thing of this movie. The cast. I think this cast is really, really top-notch. I liked Michael Keaton as the big business tycoon because it kind of hit me halfway through the movie like, wait a minute. This guy wants money. And I didn't even realize it. I mean, okay, he's not fully like the straight-up villain for the most of the movie, but I just realized, I was like, this guy's not evil in the regular sense, like, usually when we have villains about bad guys who are so greedy for the sake of being greedy, you know, they're so not interesting. But Michael Keaton was very interesting as this guy, and it kind of he played off of that he kind of believes in when he says, like, we're not only going to make millions, but we're also going to save thousands upon thousands of lives with this technology. And I believe that the guy kind of believes that, but he's willing to let go some of the more moral and human nature of things in order to get what he wants. Gary Oldman plays a really good scientist that's conflicted, that really wants to help people, but he's conflicted of what he needs for his company and for his research to last, and also what is good for this person, Alex Murphy, and the situation that he's thrown in. But most of all, I really like the guy that they got to play Alex Murphy himself. You know, usually these guys can come off as pretty typical and straightforward, and I guess you can say that, accuse this actor of that to a point, but I think the moments where it's supposed to be handled seriously are kind of handled in a way that's almost better than the original. Like, for example, the original, he doesn't really have time to process anything, because in the original, the whole point was he doesn't know who he is, he doesn't know anything, he doesn't have any memory of his past. All he knows is how to fight crime. In this movie, it's different because they want the public to think that Alex Murphy is in control. But the more control that the company wants to take for themselves, kind of the more efficient he becomes, but the more robotic he becomes, and the more people around him, their loved ones, realizing that they're kind of taking his soul away from him. The more they take away from him, the more Alex Murphy has to fight back. And I really like the way this actor portrayed a cop going through this situation. I also like his partner. He didn't have a whole lot of stuff to do in this movie, but I think I bought that he was a cop and that they were partners, because the dialogue, even though there wasn't a lot between them, it felt very genuine. And when Alex Murphy gets to the point where he is in control of his own destiny, he really comes across as someone who is capable and is able to pull it off. I will say that the movie's biggest problem is its pacing. I mean, we have all this setup, and it goes super fast of all that's happened to the events leading up to the car bomb, and all that setup super fast, and the pacing's moving really fast, and you're going with the story, and it's not rushed pacing. I mean, it's actually really good pacing. It's giving you the right information, but keeping the plot going and going, and then, boom, after the accident, we go from this to... and it just slows down because he has to do all of his training stuff. I mean, there are interesting parts in the training segment, but I think it takes way too long. I really think they could have cut like 10 minutes out of that whole training, maybe even more, out of that whole training segment, because I wanted to just see him go to the streets and do stuff. You know, I wanted to see Robo Cop doing Robo Cop stuff. But there are parts where this movie really drags, and that does bring it down quite a bit for me. Because, you know, if I want to have a movie that I want to rewatch over and over again, the pacing needs to be tight. The pacing brings it down a little bit, but it does pick up in the third act, and I like where it goes with it and how it handles it. Now, the new look. People say that, a lot of people were saying before the movie came out that they didn't like the new look. Because it's like, black, everything's black. Everything's black. Keep the gray, the classic gray. I like the black, actually. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm not a humongous fan. I'm just I like the original, but that's about it, you know. I will say, when comparing the original to this one, there are certain qualities the original has over this one. For example, the world that movie set up. It really felt like it called for a Robo Cop-like character. You know, a robot that's half robot, half human, that is above the law, and is able to take the law into his own hands because he's not capable of making any judgmental errors. The movie did feel like it was a world that could have had that. This world doesn't feel too different from ours. I mean, sure, there's crime, but it didn't feel to me at any point that this was a crime-ridden city, or this world was filled with just so much crime and corruption. Like, we saw that there was corruption and there was crime, but it didn't seem to me like there was an overabundance that the people would be okay with RoboCop just breaking through buildings without a warrant or anything and just grabbing criminals and arresting them. You know, that's the one thing I was just like, does this world really call for that sort of a thing? Maybe it does, but I just felt like it could have been better shown that maybe this world is a little bit more desperate. I like the family because the family is not cliched. I mean, like, the kid barely has any lines, but I think it's okay because we can see that he's just a kid. There's no great detail that's going to be explained with him. He's just a kid. He misses his father. He doesn't have a whole lot to say. I mean, I think his lines are fine. I like his wife because she, to me, even though she doesn't have like a huge part in this movie, I'm just so glad she's not filled with cliches. You know, like the cliche wife, like, you're getting in too dangerous. What about us? You don't spend enough time with us. I don't know if you make it back alive or not. Every night I just pray that you'll make it home the next day. I'm so glad that she's not like that in this movie. That she is someone who just loves her husband, and she's really caring about what's going on with him. Now, despite this movie not being an R movie like its predecessor, this does have some creepy moments. If you've seen the movie, you know which ones I'm talking about with the... That's stuff that's gonna give, like, if a kid saw that, that would give him nightmares, I'm telling you. And it really, like, I thought that, you know, like, the movie, the original Robo Cop, when he experiences his... I don't want to say accident, but the thing that makes him dead, or, you know, the thing that... The incident that turns him into Robo Cop, in the other movie, it was, like, super gory and super, like, you know, blood everywhere, and they're shooting off his limbs and everything, and I'm just like, okay, well, that's gory, and that's really tragic, and it feels really painful, and you can really feel the actor feeling that pain. Here, it's just a car bomb. But no, when, after the car bomb, the aftermath of what he looks like, yeah, that's pretty darn creepy. I'll just let you experience that for yourself. I had one question racing through my mind halfway through this movie. Why isn't this a video game? And I don't mean that as a disregard or, oh, look, it's just like a video game. I actually mean that as, why isn't there a RoboCop video game? Just think about it. You're RoboCop. You're going through the future Detroit city. You're stopping crimes. You can just be driving by the street, and then you see out of the corner of your eye a murderer, and then you turn your bike around and you go get him. Or you could just hear over the radio that there's murderers, or there's a gang war going on, and you just turn your bike around, you go and you start shooting stuff up. And you could have a jump ability where you could, maybe not jump up buildings, because I don't think that would work that way, but, you know, you could jump high and run fast, and you would have your motorcycle, and you could have your different weapons, and you could upgrade them and get RoboCop-style weapons and get research into that. You could ask for government. I don't know. I just think that when I was watching this, I'm like, this would make a great video game. And I think someone should get on that, make a RoboCop video game. Open world, I think that'd be fantastic. The action scenes are actually pretty good. I won't say that they're exactly super memorable, but I will say that there are there's some parts in the movie, especially with those gigantic machines, that are actually pretty cool. And I like how this RoboCop, much like the other one, the original, it doesn't feel like bullets just bounce off him and he doesn't feel any pain. It feels like a lot of times he is risking his life to go on these sort of missions and to do his job as RoboCop. And I like that he's not just the super perfect cop, you know. They put him in, like, in the training montage, they put him in a room, or a simulated training thing with a robot, and the robot is, like, super efficient, and RoboCop's not super, like, he's efficient, but he's not super efficient. And I like that, because it makes him someone that has to overthink his problems, think out of the box, and really adapt to the situations and put everything on the line. So in the end, I think that the RoboCop movie is actually a pretty entertaining piece of science fiction. I think that there are certain parts into it that drag, but I think the action scenes bring it up a bit, and then the characters and the acting are top-notch in this film, enough to give it a recommendation from me. So everyone, thanks for watching. I'm LazyDude99, and I am giving RoboCop a 6.5 out of 10. It's entertaining. It does have some parts that's slow, but all the acting is top-notch. It's funny, it's cool, and the slick black armor is pretty darn cool too. In any case, I'm LazyDude99, and if I don't like it, it's not worth it. See you around. Be sure to check out more of my other videos on my channel, and wait for more coming soon.